everybody, my name is Jamali and I will be answering this prompt. It says, describe the transformation in each function as it relates to the graph of f of x is equal to x. And if we have two functions that we will be transforming, and they are also right here in green. G of x is equal to negative 5/3 x. And the second one is this red one, G of x is equal to 9x minus 4. I want to point out that the definition of transformation is the same as in regular vocabulary. It means a change in math. So how does this line change from that line to this? And by simply looking at it, you could describe the changes, but we're going to graph them. So let's go on over to the other page. I just want to start off by taking a look at doing a comparison between these two functions. So what are some of the things that you notice? Well, here in f of x, we have the x by itself. In g of x, we have this number in front of it, in front of the x. And there are two things that you probably noticed about the number, is that it has this negative and that it has a 5/3. And what this tells us about the graph is that this graph, which I've already plotted here, this line, which is our original function, f of x is equal to x, is going to be transformed because this number is changing. So the first thing that we're going to notice is that negative is going to change the direction of the graph from a positive. So you notice it's pointing upwards and to the right, to a negative. I'm going to do this in a different color. So now that instead of going up, the graph is going to point down, because that's what that negative symbol told it to do, basically. Now that 5/3 indicates how extreme the slope is going to be. So is it going to be super steep? Is it going to be not so steep? You know, would you be able to slide a lot or a little bit? And that's what that number tells us. I can get more into that later. But let's take a look at what those two lines look like. This is our original line, right? Remember, the negative makes a change from a positive to a negative slope. And then the 5/3 tells us how steep it is going to be. Here we see our new graph. So you can add that graph to the board. And now let's follow the instructions of the prompt, which was to describe the transformation. So you can say g of x has a negative slope of negative 5/3. And it's important that we use that word slope, because that part of the function that we just circled, so negative 5/3, is the slope of the line. All right. For our second function, which I have it here again, let's take a look at what are the differences in this case. How does this graph change? Well, so I see this negative 4. And I also see this positive 9. What this tells me is that this graph is going to have a much steeper line. It's going to be very straight up like this because the slope is a lot bigger. It's 9. 9 is way bigger than 1. And our y-intercept is -4. That means that it is going to cross the graph at -4. So let's plot that. Let's take a look. Let's see what that looks like. This is our original function. Now we have nx minus 4. And you see how steep that went? Very different from the original. And as I said, it is crossing through -4. So that is our new graph. And of course, we have to answer the prompt by saying or by writing the graph of g of x has a slope, a positive slope of 9 and a y-intercept of -4. Done.